Update. Am I the a-hole for going off on my wife because she teases me even though our bedroom is dead? Original post. I, 32 male, am married to my wife, 32 female, for 6 years and together for 9 years. Our sex life gradually diminished into nothing after the 3rd year of our marriage. We do not have children as of now. I handle my part of chores in the household, if not even more due to me working from home and being available mostly. I do show her non-sexual attention and gestures, such as massaging, kisses, being emotionally available, and other things. I explain these because people tend to find fault from my side first, after I tell them about the situation. I try to have many talks with my wife about it, but it all boils down to, we are not married just for sex, stop thinking with your thing down there, and so on. However, she does not stop herself from teasing me. She'll talk about sex, but just reject me afterwards and go to sleep. She'll be flirty, but nothing in the end. I ask her if it's a kink, and if it is, I am not comfortable with such a thing, especially as our sexual life is in shambles. She said it's not a kink, and she genuinely does not feel in the mood. I told her to stop teasing me then. Yesterday was our anniversary and we had a great day together. She implied sex and teased me a lot during our time. I was hopeful that we'll do something in the end. Guess what? Once we stepped inside the house, she just showered and went to bed. Cool, I think I should approach. I tried and got rejected in the end. I lost it at that moment and just shouted my frustration at her. I told her I am going to divorce her. I packed my clothes and some important belongings and left for a hotel. She tried to stop me but could not. She has been calling me nonstop, but I just need peace of mind right now. It's just frustrating. Being together with someone but feeling alone and unwanted sucks. On top of that, she gives me hope only to destroy it. I called my lawyer friend this morning and will start the divorce proceedings this Monday. I am just done at this point. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. It's really messed up to lead a person on like that, especially your own husband. Not the a-hole. Emotional teasing with no follow-through is cruel. You deserve a respectful partner. I used to think cruel and unusual would at the bare minimum involve batteries and some cables connected to balls. After reading OP's piece, I am changing my position. How can she say they did not just marry for sex? And find it normal that they have not had any form of sex for years? Just marrying for sex implies that there actually still is some sex. And leading you on and dropping your butt on an anniversary is almost unforgivable. I understand if they aren't in the mood and say no, but 6 years? I almost have to think she's getting it from somewhere else. You might be the a-hole for the outburst, depending on exactly what and how it was said, but your feelings are valid AF. Best analogy I've heard regarding this situation. You don't buy a house for the bathroom, but you wouldn't buy a house that didn't have a bathroom. You don't enter a relationship just for sex, but you can't have a proper relationship without it. Some people do have sexless marriages, but that is by choice. Divorce her and move on. She had her chance to fix things and blew it. I do think she has the emasculation kink whether she realizes it or not. She gets off on the empowerment aspect of cucking you this way. As an asexual woman, this is exactly what I came here to say. My husband isn't ace, but he married me knowing what was up, and we have an agreement he's happy with. We chose this life together, and I've never entertained a relationship with him if he had needs I knew I never intended to meet, let alone rile him up about it and make him think I was going to. Can you imagine this as a different need? Partner knows their spouse has needs for physical affection and emotional reassurance. Keeps offering to talk, only to walk off and refuse to provide that time, and again leaving their partner emotionally constipated and alone with their emotional needs unmet. None would suggest they stay ever. If OP's wife had the best benefit of the doubt and really doesn't know how cruel this is, then she needs therapy big time. Otherwise, to hell with that abuse. Not the a-hole. Just leave, man. It's not worth it. Trust me. Incompatibility like this is bad enough without her leading you on as well. That's messed up manipulative. Now for the update. Just came back from local courthouse after presenting the divorce intention document to the family court. A friend filled out my info on a one-pager draft, and that was it. I called my wife to let her know I started the process and I'm okay with 50-50 everything. She called for marriage counseling and told me I should take what I did back. I realized I'm extremely burnt out by trying and do not want to try anymore. That's what 3 years of trying with no results does to someone, I guess. I told her we can have a separation counseling near the end of the divorce, so we can understand the relationship from each other's points and end it amicably. She tried to talk with me, but I asked her to please make it easy for both of us and hung up. She is messaging me and calling me still, but I have no intention of talking to her if lawyers are not involved right now. My lawyer friend told me it's okay to leave the house as we do not own it anyways. I'll be staying with my parents for now. Next update will be once the divorce is completed. Hopefully it will be in a few months, not years. There were a lot of comments on the original post and I cannot answer all of them. Thank you for all the advice and help. I'm struggling to think what she feels she could possibly say now that'll fix things. I love you, I'll change, let me make it up to you. All of which will lead to nothing but the same thing within 5 days if Hopi takes her back. It's all empty promises. Action speaks louder than words, and she's already shown her true colors. I remember the first girl I had sex with stopped wanting it. There was a lot of trauma there, and the sex we did have was really bad and really boring. She didn't want to do anything at all. After we broke up, she asked me to give her a chance, give her a weekend. She'll come over to my dorm, my roommate was out of town for the weekend, and she'll give me the sex I deserve, and I'll bring all the condoms we had. We need them. She showed up. I made my interest known. She kissed me, teased me, went, oopsies, I forgot the condom. Guess we're just going to spend a weekend cuddling and not having any. You asked her for years. Now she wants to work on it. Get on with your life. Find someone that you are compatible with. Much love. Stay strong. More than just that. She told him that he needed to take back what he said. F that noise. She seems incapable of realizing what she constantly did to him is wrong, and is putting the blame on him. I'm reluctant to judge too quickly, but really seems like signs of narcissism at least. I agree. Her having issues with libido or body image would be one thing, and completely understandable. However, her consistently teasing him just to shut him down when it comes time is beyond cruel. It's not like she can say she thought she'd be in the mood and turned out not to be. That can happen sometimes, but not every time for years on end. It's like she enjoys feeling desired and didn't care how it made him feel in the process when she shut him down time and time again. She seems very dismissive of Hopi's feelings in general. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife there's nothing weird about me giving away my niece at her wedding and that my wife has no say in it at all? Original post. My niece, 26 female, has her wedding in a month and she wants me to give her away at her wedding. Her father passed away when she was really young, and I felt a moral obligation to help my sister and her daughter, because my sister too helped me a lot growing up. I knew I had an obligation to my wife and children primarily, but that didn't mean I couldn't help out my sister and her daughter too. Since they live just 10 minutes from us, I tried to be as physically active as possible in my niece's life when she's growing up. My wife and I have had a few arguments on it over the years. I have also been sending money to my sister every month for the past decade or so. It is from my individual account, not the joint account my wife and I share, so I have full liberty to spend it however I want. But my wife does know about it, and we had arguments on this too. Now coming to the point, my niece wants me to give her away at her wedding next month, but my wife thinks it's very weird and she doesn't want me to do it. I told my wife there's nothing weird about it, and her opinion on this is irrelevant. We have had a lot of discussions on this over the past week, and I am made to feel like a bad guy by my wife. Am I the bad guy? Am I the a-hole if I were to give my niece at her wedding? Now for the top comments before reading the update. I am confused why that is weird. You are walking her down the aisle at her wedding. What is the problem? Not the a-hole. You should like a caring uncle and brother. Saying your wife's opinion is irrelevant to her making it a problem is deserved. Sorry, not sorry. I don't get it either. Seems a normal thing for an uncle to walk a bride down the aisle in a place of a deceased father. My brother and I walked my sister down the aisle at her renewal ceremony because our dad had passed. What reasoning did your wife have for it being weird? She's given many reasons. Like, for example, one reason being that we have a daughter who isn't married yet, and she feels like I'm closer to my niece than my daughter, which isn't true at all. And then she says symbolically, me going to my niece's wedding as her father figure while my sister being there as her mother. She thinks it's weird. She's hinting at it looking incestuous? Is that the point she's trying to make? 99.9% of people would just think it's sweet that her uncle is walking her down the aisle. If that's what your wife is hinting at, then she needs some therapy. She's the weird one for sure, not the a-hole. Yeah, that's so weird. An uncle who has acted as a father figure is the perfect person to walk in knees down the aisle. Nothing about that would make me think of anything incestuous at all. She seems like she's got a weird jealousy towards the sister that is misplaced. I walked my sister down the aisle because my dad refused to go to her wedding. OP, nothing weird about it. Your wife has some underlying issues and she's choosing this as a lashing out point. The issue is not here, it's elsewhere and she's manifesting it here. Good luck, buddy. Now for the update. Reading the comments on my last post made me feel a bit better about everything. To be honest, all these discussions I've had with my wife, it just gets extremely tiring, and I sometimes start feeling guilty about everything, but reading the comments made me feel better. I had a discussion again with my wife last night. I didn't show her the post because a lot of the comments were pretty harsh towards her, but I did feel confident last night when we had a discussion. We came to a decision that I would walk my niece down the aisle, but we would also go to marriage counseling because my wife had a lot of things to get off her chest. I asked my wife what some of those things were, and she said the primary issue was that she felt like I was playing happy family with my sister and my niece all these years, and that she feels like I have taken the role of a significant other to my sister, which I disagreed with, but we'll speak about it in marriage counseling. She then talked about how she sometimes wished she was my sister instead of my wife, because she wished she had the same emotional connection with me that I had with my sister. I didn't really know what to say to that, so I didn't say anything. She then talked about how I've been more of a father to my niece than to our daughter, but I disagreed again, because my daughter and I always have been close, and I've never sensed any resentment from my daughter. Again, something we'll both talk about in marriage counseling. So that is it for the update. A pretty exhausting discussion, but marriage counseling should hopefully help. I am glad I will be able to walk my niece down the aisle because she said it really means a lot to her. I think it's odd that your wife would look at a relationship between siblings and compare it to her marriage. But it's also obvious that her emotional needs have not been met over the years. So who are we to belittle what she may genuinely feel? Good luck to you both in counseling, and I hope it helps to resolve the underlying issues in your marriage. Congrats to your niece. I think if you take sex out of the equation, it makes perfect sense. If OP has in fact been a more present and dependable partner to his sister, then I would totally get where his wife is coming from. Obviously, I don't know, and her choosing to draw the line at the wedding was weird. I think it was just a bunch of little stuff that added up, and the wedding was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's impossible to know, and not really helpful to speculate since we are only getting one perspective. She could be jealous and clingy. He could be emotionally absent in favor of his sister and niece. Maybe they just have different perspectives/expectations that a good marriage counselor can help them navigate in a healthy way. You should have a private conversation with your daughter and ask her how she feels about your relationship with her cousin. Since you have missed some of your wife's emotional needs, it is possible you have missed some of your daughter's needs. I really would love to know what daughter thinks, and how old is the daughter? My daughter is 26 too. We are both honest with each other, and she admits that my niece's upcoming wedding did make her a bit jealous, but she is really happy for my niece. You don't need to financially support your niece or sister anymore. I think your wife feels like she and your daughter are in second place compared to your sister and niece. I think you may have been emotionally absent as a husband and father, and that's why your wife is angry. Sounds like she's just tired of always being not enough. Stop dismissing her concerns. Her feelings should always be important to you, same as her opinion. OP, I think you're going to get a hell of a shock in counseling when your wife starts sharing her feelings. You can't tell her they're irrelevant then. Last story. Am I the a-hole for banning my 5-year-old sister from my wedding unless she gets therapy before the wedding? I just want to start off by saying I, 24 female, love my baby sister more than anything in the world. I drive a 3-row car because it was able to fit her and my other siblings, 9 female and 7 male, and some of their friends. My fiancé and I watch the kids after school every day, and they spend the nights with us 2 to 4 days a week. My fiancé is great with kids, and they adore him. My fiancé proposed 6 months ago, and when we told the kids, the older 2 were excited. But Evie, the 5-year-old, was furious. She started crying and hitting me because she wanted to marry him, and if I marry him, she can't. She refused to speak to me for almost a week, and now she's mostly okay, but she gets mad at me and starts crying and hitting me anytime she sees me kiss him. She was supposed to be our flower girl, but I really don't think she'll be able to sit through the wedding without some kind of outburst, so I called our dad, told him about all of this, and said that she won't be allowed to attend the wedding unless she starts seeing a therapist before the wedding. The wedding is in September, so he has a couple of months to get her in therapy. He's saying she doesn't need therapy. She's just a 5-year-old with a crush on my fiancé. I'm overreacting, and she won't forgive me if I exclude her from the wedding. Am I the a-hole for banning her unless she gets her therapy? Where are the parents? Why is no one telling her that she can't behave this way? You mean the parents who pawn their kids off on OP all the time? We do tell her she can't behave this way. Who is we? Are there consequences? Violence and biting until someone bleed is a danger sign. Is this even real? Me and my fiancé. She sits in time out every time this happens, and if this happens outside of the house, we'll leave and take her home. My fiancé even refuses to play with her after, and tells her that he doesn't play with people that hit. Still wondering where her parents are. Not very involved. Why the heck did they have so many kids if they don't want to be involved? You and your fiancé need to distance yourselves from them, and your father needs to figure this out. Who is the mother? Is she your mother as well? Stop wasting your life on other people's kids. We have different moms. Their mom doesn't seem to want anything to do with the kids if she can't get cute pictures for Insta. Dad has never been very involved.